Last night, the long ball propelled the Astros to their third consecutive victory. Today, the series continues with the White Sox as Dallas Keuchel takes the mound, wanting to build on his recent success. So sit back and relax. Father's Day Baseball is next on Comcast Sportsnet. Live from Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, Comcast Sportsnet brings you Houston Astros baseball. Today it's Game 3 of this 4-game series. The Astros taking on the Chicago White Sox. Good afternoon and happy Father's Day from Bill Brown and Alan Ashby. And the Astros have won 3 in a row, riding the long balls, good pitching, and the first ever in Astros history, Ash. The game ended with an Astros pitcher picking off a base runner last night.
Hey, that's surprising, actually. It's a nice way to win a ball game. It's not such a good way to lose a ball game. Awfully tough on the other side. But it's a nice combination you talk about. You start getting some of that power game going. You get the pitching going well. And certainly the pitching has been good. But Jason Castro, who hit 6 home runs in the month of May, now his 9th on the year, swinging that big bat. Chris Carter can be such a difference maker. 14 bombs now. First Astro to have 14 by June 15th since Lance Berkman and Carlos Lee. Nice combinations and right in the heart of the order for Houston.
Lucas Harrell did an excellent job. The bullpen chimed in, and the Astros won it by 1. And Dallas Keuchel takes the mound today.
Dallas Keuchel has been on a nice run of his own. Everybody in this rotation has been pitching well. Dallas Keuchel has been extremely good of late. 2-1 ERA in his last 3 starts at 189. He's putting up very nice numbers, striking out more hitters than you might anticipate. He's only walked a couple of batters in that span. Dallas Keuchel has worked the inside corner very well. He's changed speeds, good breaking ball spotting on the corners. That slide step that you see will shut down running games. Dallas Keuchel has been a big part of the success this starting rotation has had.
Coming up on this Father's Day, Julia Morales talks to some of the Astros players, and with the angle of Father's Day coming your way next.
Comcast Sportsnet. The Astros and Chicago White Sox get set for the third of a four-game set here at Minute Maid Park, and I am inside the clubhouse. A little bit quieter in here as I'm with Matt Dominguez, who's getting ready for the game. Third baseman. You put baseball, you put dads together. It's just the perfect mix, and it makes for a great day. But what is it like for you to be able to play and honor your dad on Father's Day?
You know, it's great. You know, I owe a lot to him growing up and, you know, get me into the game and teach me all I knew when I was growing up and things like that. And for him to be here is it's a special day. And he's going to throw out one of the first pitches, so it should be fun.
You said, you know, he used to hit ground balls to you. He helped you become the third baseman that you are today. What else did he teach you?
Just about life, you know, just always staying humble and even keel, and you know, baseball is a game of high and low, so the most you can stay even keel, the better it is. So you know, that's probably the biggest thing he's taught me that relates to baseball. So like I said, I owe him a lot, and I'm just glad he could be here.
Thank you very much for the time, and enjoy this time with your dad. I know he's here.
Yeah, I will, most definitely.
All right, that's Matt Dominguez. Stay with us. First pitch and lineup coming up. Dallas Keuchel on the mound for the Astros as they try to take 3 straight from the White Sox. Happy Father's Day, everybody. We'll be right back.
Is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. By Jack in the Box. Try Jack's Big Stack Burger. 2 jumbo beef patties stacked with onion rings, cheese, and pickles. And by Progressive. Visit progressive.com today. We just had a rousing rendition of the national anthem. The kids have taken the field alongside Astros players. Now they're on their way back in to their seating areas here at Minute Maid Park in downtown Houston. And Mackenzie Walker, 9 years old, did a wonderful job of singing the national anthem prior to Game 3 of this 4-game series between the Astros and the White Sox. The Astros have won the first 2 of this series, giving them a 3-game winning streak. Friday night, they won a tight one 2-1. And last night, it was another one-run game, a 4-3 Houston win. So the White Sox coming in with 28 wins. They have stayed with that total, and the Astros now have won 25 this season after capturing the first two from Robin Ventura's White Sox, who were on a 10-game road trip. They'll be going to Minnesota and Kansas City after this series ends, and the concluding game will be tomorrow night. Starting lineup for Robin Ventura begins with center fielder Alejandro De Aza. It's Alexi Ramirez at shortstop, Alex Rios in right field, Paul Konerko the DH, Diane Viciedo in left field, Adam Dunn at first base, Jeff Kevinger at third, Gordon Beckham at second base, Tyler Flowers is the catcher.
And on the mound for the Astros this afternoon, left-hander Dallas Keuchel, 25 years of age. He's 3-3, 437 on the year, allowing more hits than innings pitched, but he has tightened it all up here of late. ERA has been below the 2 mark in recent starts. Right-hand hitters hitting .294, the lefties .295. So you can see there's a lot of work to be done there, but he's not walking many, and he has been leaving the Astros with a chance to win each of his starts of recent times.
He really has done a remarkable job after beginning of the season in the bullpen.
And that defense behind Keuchel, Carlos Corporon behind the dish. Around the infield, Carlos Pena, Jose Altuve, Marwin Gonzalez, and Matt Dominguez. In the outfield, Brandon Barnes in center, flanked by Trevor Crow in right and Chris Carter in left.
And now with a lot of dads and their families in the audience today. There's a big afternoon ahead after this ball game ends. There's picnic in the park. So a lot of families. It's a sold-out event. Some 700 people will be taking to the field and settling down on blankets for the picnic with entertainment after this ball game today. Alejandro De Aza gets it started. He has 7 career leadoff homers. And there's strike one. Jordan Baker's the home plate umpire for Dallas Keuchel's first pitch. De Aza at 265 with 7 bombs has driven in 30. Father of Angel De Aza. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count, and this is Keuchel's first ever appearance against the White Sox in the major leagues. He has won 6 and lost 11 with a 4.90 ERA. At strike 2, and it's 1-2.
I think we should all remember the immortal words of Ralph Kiner at this time on this Father's Day. A happy birthday to everyone out there. And I mean it.
You're just jealous it didn't come from one of us. 2 balls, 2 strikes. It's always lurking there. The malaprops, the mistakes that we make every inning of every game. But it's a fun job, isn't it? And guys like Ralph Kiner made it even more fun. That was a tough loss to the Mariners with 6 innings of 2-run baseball for Dallas Keuchel in a 3-2 loss. And that's chop foul. And he gave up just 1 earned run in 6 innings. That's his second straight start with 1 earned run allowed in 6. And the start before those 2, he gave up 2 earned runs in 7. So Dallas Keuchel has been into a very nice groove.
Yeah, over the course of a season, you're going to be in a groove or a rut, and a whole lot better to be in that groove.
Yeah. And he opens with a strikeout of De Aza. Shaking his head on the way back to the dugout, and he'll be replaced in the batter's box by Alexi Ramirez.
Just gets it under the knees and creates a swing. And one of the things that Dallas has done so well, along with other pitchers on this Astros staff, throwing more strikes of late, getting ahead on hitters, and increasing those swings on pitches out of the strike zone.
That can be very helpful to a pitcher. That one is out of the strike zone, and it's ball 1 to Alexi Ramirez, checking in at 269 with 1 homer and 13 runs batted in. Alexi has had some dynamic offensive seasons as a major leaguer. So far, this is not one of them. Ground ball goes foul. Back in 2008, his first year in the big leagues for the White Sox, he hit 290 with 21 homers, 77 runs batted in, and that still ranks as his best major league season. Ramirez is 3 for 8 in this series. And Keuchel, as he's done so well this year, comes inside on the right-handed batter. It's ball 2. It's a very steamy Father's Day here in Houston, Texas. Temperature probably will reach the mid-90s on a very humid day outside. Nice to have a roof and air conditioning. Robin Ventura's White Sox have had tons of bad weather at U.S. Cellular. He's the father of 4. In fact, when he was hired prior to last season as the White Sox skipper, and he's one of those longtime, very good Major League Baseball players who did not have any managerial experience on his resume, but he was quite content at home with his family in California. And Jerry Reinsdorf and Kenny Williams had to fly out and convince him to take the job. 2-hopper to Matt Dominguez. And it's out number 2. And of course, things went so very well last year for the White Sox, who held down first place in the AL Central for more than half of the season. Then just ran into a rut at the end of the year. You were talking about ruts, Sesh, and they got into one the last 10 days and fell behind Detroit, with the Tigers winning the AL Central last year.
White Sox have enough pitching that they could be successful this year. Their offense has been quite miserable. And what they've also done that everybody's talking about with the White Sox is making a lot of little mistakes that don't show up in box scores. One of those flagrantly out there yesterday with that pickoff at second base for the final out of the game.
That's a terrible way to end a ball game, losing by 1 with the runner picked off at second. Alex Rios looks at the first 2 pitches. He has a 1-1 count. Rios has driven in 33 with 11 home runs for Alex and a .285 batting average.
Nice pacing by Dallas Keuchel.
Yeah, it really is. He's working very quickly. What, about 8-10 seconds between pitches?
Somewhere in that vicinity.
And Corcoran, the way he's setting up will tell you where the pitch will be, but some pitchers will tell you, and Jack Morris was one of them, I really don't care if the hitter knows where the pitch is going to be. If I execute, I'm still going to feel pretty good about it. Now it's ball 4, and Rios takes the 2-out walk.
Well, Jack Morris had some pretty good postseasons as well as regular seasons for that matter. If he's got a point there, and he may, it doesn't matter when a pitcher makes that quality pitch. You're just going to have a tough time as a hitter.
Tigers are looking good despite their closer problems with Jose Valverde atop the AL Central. Bo Porter's club, though, has been giving other teams fit for the last month. Since May 15th, the Astros are 15-14. Paul Konerko's the batter. And he takes ball 1 as well. At .239, Paul has 6 homers. He's driven in 25. He's had a good series so far, going 3 for 6 with an RBI and a couple of walks. He needs only 27 more homers to tie the all-time franchise record for the White Sox, set by Frank Thomas, 448. Slowly hit to Dominguez. And he zips it across to Carlos Pena. It's no runs, no hits, and a man left. No score from Houston. Successful the first 2 games here of this series, and overall 7 of the last 9 wins against the White Sox. Here's his starting lineup: Brandon Barnes center field, Jose Altuve second base, Jason Castro DHing, batting third, Carlos Corcoran's the catcher with Chris Carter in left field, Carlos Pena at first base, Trevor Crowe in right, Matt Dominguez at third, Marwin Gonzalez at short.
Hector Santiago, left-hander on the mound for the White Sox. He works out of the bullpen primarily, but he's been more effective as a starter. 25 years of age, 2-4 on the year, 3.12 is the ERA. You can see 10 less hits allowed than innings pitched, and right-hand hitters against this left-hander hitting just 195. That generally says there's some specialty pitch. He has a little bit of a screwball.
Yes, he does. Now Brandon Barnes gets it going for Houston. 271, 3 homers, 16 runs batted in. A big run producing double in last night's game. There's strike one to Brandon. The Astros got Barnes double in the 5th inning. That gave them a 4-1 lead. Then they were able to hang on and win it 4-3. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count as Santiago throws one soft and away. And the third baseman Keppinger is even with the bag. Barnes has hit lefties well to the tune of 327. This one goes to Keppinger's left, diving play. He gets up and throws him out. One down on a good effort by Keppinger.
Drawn in on the third base side, Keppinger, and just makes this layout play. If this ball goes to Ramirez at shortstop, it's going to take a good throw to get the speed of Barnes. That defense for the White Sox, Tyler Flowers behind the dish, Adam Dunn at first, Gordon Beckham, Alexi Ramirez at shortstop, and Jeff Keppinger. You just saw him diving. In the outfield, Alejandro Diaz in center, flanked by Alex Rios in right, and Dion Viciedo in left.
Jose Altuve looks at a heater at 92. There's strike one for Santiago to a 292 hitting Altuve with 3 homers, 27 runs batted in. And he chases one there. It's no balls, 2 strikes. Santiago with 26 walks in 52 innings does have to deal with some base runners, but his ERA has been kept down to 3.12. Batting average against him 226. He's got some herky jerkiness to him, Ash.
Those last 2 pitches, the changeup that he turns over, screwball, whatever he calls it, and you could see the reaction on the previous one, Altuve reaching just way out in front. You can just about guarantee it, though, Brownie, when you see a left-hander, for example, that has great numbers against a right-handed hitter, you can just about assure yourself there is some version of a changeup involved. And the more herky-jerky, the better with that changeup.
Alexi Ramirez makes a smooth play to the backhand side for out number 2. Yeah, it was interesting looking at that replay of Santiago's right leg as it came through.
This is going to take a good play at shortstop here with Altuve, but immediately planting that right foot, Ramirez has a good strong arm and gets him rather handily.
Well, as you've indicated, the White Sox have had their issues defensively. They've made 44 errors. They've allowed 25 unearned runs, but they've made 2 excellent plays to get this game started. And now it's Jason Castro batting, so Robin Ventura would like to see a whole lot more of that.
Word is that Robin Ventura has had his ball club out early, working on all the issues that they've presented this year. It's just not paying off for this club.
Well, Mr. Danks was picked off second base to end the game last night. Castro homered last night off a lefty for the first time in his career. And that came off John Danks. Jordan Danks, the outfielder, was the one who was picked off. In fact, it was a rough night for the Danks family. They're from Austin, Texas. Their family was here. Well, John was the losing pitcher. Jordan got picked off second for the final out in the game, a 1-run loss. 2 balls and a strike.
Yeah. Jason Castro with, as you say, Brownie, that first career home run against a left-handed pitcher, and you hope that opens the floodgates. He has just seemingly gotten better and better at the dish.
Grounds this one to first. Adam Dunn with it. 3 ground ball outs for Santiago and a scoreless first inning.
score here, and it's time for our AT&T tweet of the game. It comes from Astros reliever Wesley Wright. He tweets, "Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there, especially my dad, Willie Wright, who taught me the true meaning of being a father." And we want to wish Wes a happy Father's Day as he has a little one, little London. And I was talking to Wes before the game about this recent 3-game winning streak the team is on and these close wins. And he said, it's not just this streak. We've actually been playing really well this entire month. Even that tough road trip, there was a lot of good things we could take from that, just the pitching and how well they've been doing recently. And just, we've been really battling is what he said, guys.
Thanks, Julia. We go to inning number 2. They're going back to Dome days with those unis. And it'll be Diane Viciedo leading it off here for the White Sox in a scoreless game. He hit his first game-winning homer early in this season against Seattle. That was the first week of the season, April 7th. And this one goes in the air and chases Brandon Barnes back. Way back into center field. Barnes on the run, and he takes a spill on the hill, but holds on. Tremendous running catch by Brandon Barnes. He just kept pursuing it as the incline approached.
That's just airing it out. And Brandon Barnes has shown us time and time again that he can go get it. But the fortunate aspect is that he was just one step shy of that ultimate tumble by hitting the hill. And good placement there. Viciedo needed probably another 3 or 4 feet on that fly ball. Well, that's just all out. Good stuff, Brandon.
Oh. He would not be deterred from his pursuit of that catch. That's one tremendous play.
Yep.
And his dad is here today to watch it.
That hill was getting ready to do some deterrent.
Adam Dunn is the batter. He hit his 18th homer in last night's game. And the Houston native looks at strike one. With 40 runs batted in, Dunn has a batting average at 182, but still very powerful. And in fact, he's been on a roll lately with 5 homers and 9 runs batted in his previous 6 games. Adam grew up in Porter, Texas. He waves at the breaking pitch from Keuchel. That makes it 1-2.
That should have been a pretty good message for the Astros right there. Now, guys can adjust, but based on that one swing on the breaking ball against the left-hander Adam Dunn, having a tough time picking it up.
Bouncer up the middle and on through.
Come right back with the fastball and leave it up out over the plate. And I'll bet you Dallas is kicking himself over that pitch.
Just a reminder as you enjoy a cold one to look forward to Miller time later in today's game. Brought to you by Miller Lite. Dunn gets the first White Sox hit. He's on for Jeff Keppinger now, the former Astro who played here in Houston for 3 years. And then Keppinger, after last season, signed as a free agent with the White Sox, a 3-year contract. He's off to a slow start with them, checking in at 225 with 1 homer, 17 runs batted in. We remember his little kids from his time here in Houston. They would usually be playing in the hallway after an Astros game. There's ball 1. Keppinger can play second and third, and has moved into third base recently, and getting some platoon time there with Gillespie, who was in the starting lineup last night. Connor Gillespie. It's a 2-ball, no strike count to Keppinger. Well, a catch like that one by Barnes can provide such a lift for a team.
Well, it's already 1-0 Chicago without that catch.
Yes. Strike makes it 2-1. The Astros polled some fans to see what they thought about keeping Tal's Hill, and there was really not a tremendous movement to level the hill. I think if you were to poll center fielders, they would say level it. It makes it very difficult to make a catch like the one Barnes made.
I kind of like it. It's certainly unique. Crosley Field back in the day in Cincinnati had a little bit of a hill running up to the wall. I don't think it impacted plays like this, but this is such a rare impacted play though because of the depth. If that were a normal 400-foot center field wall, I'd probably say a little too unique, but I like this.
When this park opened in 2000, a lot of opposing center fielders cast no votes against continuing this configuration, but they don't make the call on it. 3-2.
I bet you Richie Sexson back some years ago would say get rid of the flagpole in play. Remember a bomb that he hit out there that hit that pole and came back in play?
He hit it, and there was a mark up there on that pole for a long time, but it's been painted since.
Probably a good 20, 25 feet up the pole.
Yeah, it was up around where the 05 pennant flag is. Fly ball here to right center field. Coming over for Trevor Crow for out number 2. So right around the level of the 05 pennant. Richie Sexson hit that flagpole in play. It carried him back on the field, which meant it was not a home run because that flagpole is planted on Towles Hill. So anything that hits it is in play. It could go over the fence and be a homer, but this one didn't, and he got a triple.
Now, I assume that's the only ball since the inception of this ballpark that has hit that pole and come back into play.
It's the only one I can remember, Ash.
Well, I remember it was just priceless. Richie Sexson, I think he wound up at second base looking around, kind of like Willie Stargell when the ball hit his bat in the postseason, maybe the World Series way back when.
What I remember is him standing there with his hands on his hips, just staring out there, as if to say, how can that not be a home run?
Longest ball I've ever hit in my life, and it's not a home run.
Strike to Gordon Beckham, 322 for Beckham. He's driven in 3. He's come back from surgery on a broken bone in his left hand. It was that hamate bone, the hook bone at the end of the hand that hooks into the wrist. And from what I've been told, it's a very common injury. We've, of course, seen over the years many players have had that bone removed.
Isn't that the bone that Jeff Bagwell had broken a time or two?
I'm not sure it's the same one. I think his was on the top of the hand. Yeah, I think this one's more where the hand comes into the wrist. And it doesn't cause any problems to remove the bone at all. Happens all the time with baseball players. It's an injury that comes quite often from swinging the bat as much as they do. 1-2.
So can you have it removed while it's broken and therefore alleviate the problem?
Now you're getting me way out of my field.
Come on, Dr. Brown.
But I did stay at a hotel the other night, so. Swing and a miss. Beckham strikes out. No runs, a hit, and what a tremendous play. With his father in attendance, he surprised him with a trip in from California. Brandon Barnes rewards Dad with that play in second.
Right, Friday night, the Astros take on the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim at 7:10. Stay after for a spectacular fireworks show featuring music hits from Michael Jackson, presented by Marathon Oil. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com to get your tickets today. Brownie?
Thank you, Julia. Folks really had a good time on Friday night here as the Astros won a tight ball game. They got the fireworks show afterwards. They seem to be enjoying themselves. Carlos Corporate leads it off here, and there's strike one from Santiago. Corporate at .317 with 4 homers, has driven in 10. Santiago, 25 years old, was born in Newark, New Jersey, went to community college in Florida, Okaloosa Walton Community College. No balls, 2 strikes. Lightly regarded at draft time in '06, a 30th round pick.